Ladies and gentlemen, I have to be dreaming. There's no way. My club has actually done something in the transfer market. Marcus Rashford to Barcelona. Here we go. Oh boy, another twist in the tale. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of getting tired of making, videos about other clubs, seeing how other clubs are doing transfers, seeing how other clubs were improving their team. When I'd finish recording those videos, I'd look back at what Barcelona have done all transfer window, and I'd just be sad. I mean, after the whole Nico Williams transfer fell through, I think that looking at the club's financial situation, it wasn't looking good. It was not looking good. But thankfully, this deal has gone through because personally, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to say it straight up. I think this is a great deal. I think this is a deal that should have happened, in my opinion, right after the Nico Williams transfer fell through. And that's why I'm making this video, because I want to tell you why it's a good deal, but I'm also going to weigh out the cons of the deal too. And just looking at the structure of this deal, I think it's a no-brainer for Rashford. I think it's a no-brainer for United. I think it's a no-brainer for Barca, because looking at Barca's financial situation, looking at how they can't really risk buying anyone for over 50-60 million, especially a winger, and looking at how they plan to strengthen the squad with a winger, this is a no-brainer. But this loan is definitely a safe option because it allows Barca to save money. It allows them to reinvest properly next summer. In case Rashford just, doesn't work out for Barca, he's gone by the end of the year. It was just a one-year stint. We've kind of seen this story before with Barca, how they've been signing a lot of loan players with an option to buy because of their financial situation. We saw it with Cancelo. We saw it with Joao Felix. We're seeing it with Rashford now, and we've seen it before over the last couple seasons. And I think this is kind of testament to how the financial situation at Barca just hasn't improved properly in the last fiscal year. At the beginning of the year, we were told that Barca had money to spend to buy a new left winger to add depth to the squad. And as soon as we go and pursue, for those of you who don't know, Nico Williams, and just when we thought that everything suggested that Nico Williams was going to be a Barca player, we find out that we're going to have trouble registering him, and Nico Williams instead signs a 10-year deal with Bilbao, practically shattering the hearts of all Barcelona fans. But then we're told that Barca are going to go and pursue everything they have for Luis Diaz and pay 70 to 80 million euros for him. So in my head, I'm like, okay, we can't register Nico Williams, but we can afford him. But now you're saying that we can go and buy Luis Diaz for 70 or 80 million and register him too when we couldn't do it with Nico Williams. What? How does that make any sense to me? That makes literally no sense to me. But anyways, to be honest, I think that Deco and some of the club, the management, they haven't really planned the summer properly. I think that Barca were kind of in a predicament on whether they should sign Luis Diaz or not. That in itself took too much time, in my opinion. Rashford should have happened earlier, and thankfully it's happened still a month in advance before the transfer window ends. But this is kind of testament to how Barca didn't really have a clear approach for signing people for their transfers when coming into the transfer market. And that's just my opinion. But talking about the actual transfer now, I think that Marcus Rashford is a great signing. It's a safe signing. He's someone that can finally add depth to that left-handed side. Barca fans and myself were kind of crying for depth in the squad last summer, I think Rashford, him coming in, definitely takes the shackles off of Rafinha and the strikers, as they have more depth security in Rashford coming in. When you take a look at Rashford's actual profile as a player, right? He's quick, he's tenacious, he's fast. He's someone that can get in behind. He's a great ball striker. He can break the lines. And just looking at his skill set and translating it into the way Barca play, I think it can look really good. I think he can look really, really good. Barca have so many ball-to-feet players, right? They have Yamal. Rafinha is kind of like a touchline player, but he's a bit of both. You see it with Lewandowski. You see it with a lot of these players. But the way I see Rashford is, he loves running in behind. He loves getting in behind defenders, kind of receiving the ball in front of him, so he's chasing the ball down. And from there, that's when he, kind of uses his technical skill set to either beat the player and actually have some sort of final product. And we saw it at Villa so many times last season. I think we saw glimpses of Marcus Rashford's best form at Villa, in terms of the big games against PSG, in the league against Liverpool. I think that those games kind of showed how Marcus Rashford, under new management, under new style of play, under new players around him, that's not Manchester United, he can thrive. And I think that his stint at Villa last season kind of showed the player that he wants to be, the rejuvenated Marcus Rashford. And I think that for someone who's, kind of been crying out for a move out of Manchester United over the last 2 seasons, and the fact that he really wanted this move kind of shows what he's willing to bring to the club. And I think that's super, super important. Because let's not forget, Marcus Rashford has made it very, very clear over the last month or so. You could see it on his Instagram stories, you could see it on Twitter, you could see it on so many different platforms. This guy wants to join Barca. This guy is desperate to join Barca. And remember the last time someone was willing to do anything to wear the badge on their chest? Think about the season they had. Rafinha. Look what he did last season. And I'm not going to say Rashford is going to come in and do the same thing, but in terms of desire, in terms of actually, proving a point out there to the public, this could be a huge move for him. And this is the type of player that Barca fans like myself could fall in love with, because I like Rashford as a player. I think he's a very, very good player. I think the last couple seasons has kind of tarnished his image because of the way things went at Man United. The things, you could blame it on him, you could blame it on the club. That's fair. But in terms of actual ability as a player, Marcus Rashford is top. He's very, very good. And we saw it in the 22-23 season where, this guy was in the form of his life. People call it Purple Patch Marcus Rashford, and, fair enough. And I think with his intelligence as a player, him adding that to the Flick system, the way it's so demanding, the way it's high pressure, the way it's kind of guns blazing in attack. If he can thrive under Unai Emery, if he can thrive under certain management at Man United, whether it's for like half a season or two, he can definitely thrive under Flick. And Flick is known for literally transforming so many attackers into world-class attackers, into world beaters, like how you saw with Rafinha, like how you saw with Lewandowski again, like how you saw with Yamal. The list goes on. Now, with every transfer saga, there's obviously a cons side to this. And I think that with Rashford personally, in this specific move, I don't think there's that many cons. I think people already know his cons, but I think there are a couple things that I would like to mention that I would like to see Marcus Rashford not do. I think with a player like Rashford, and the reason he kind of got exiled from Man United is because of the effort that he wasn't putting into the club and the effort to actually not succeed on the pitch. With Rashford, I feel like it comes in mood swings for him. If he's really up for the game, if he's really locked in, this guy can perform at a very, very high level. But if he doesn't perform, if he's not concentrated, if he's not in the mood to play, you can see how much of a liability he can be. And that's something he can't do at Barca, because with the way that we play, with the system that we play, with the demanding fitness, with the demanding pressure, for him to not put in effort can severely hinder the team's ability to succeed. And that's only obviously when he's playing, because if I were to say, will Marcus Rashford start a lot of games, I don't think he will. I think he'll come off the bench, and I think in that sense he can be very useful. But if he were to start games, the rotational games, the cup games, low stake games, if he were to start them and he isn't putting in effort, it can really bring down the team performance. Because with the way that we press, if one person doesn't press properly, the whole system is cooked. The whole system is gone. Let's call it what it is. We saw that so many times last season where Barca would do everything right, but if the pressing and the intensity isn't right, it's GG's. I know that his mindset's already there, but his efforts need to be there throughout the whole season, because personally, I think that this is Marcus Rashford's last dance at any sort of big European club. If he doesn't succeed at Barca, I don't think there's going to be another big move for him to any other European club. Rashford isn't known for being a phenomenal presser, right, of the ball. And hopefully, I think Flick can transform that. That's something I'm being very optimistic about. And I see it, though. It's something I could see him do. Because not only do I like the idea of being at my club, for him to play with the likes of Yamal, Lewandowski, Pedri, Rafinha, I love that. I think it's going to be really, really cool. So hopefully Rashford succeeds at the club, and I think that there's a very, very high chance he can, because of the way we play. The play style kind of suits his ability as a player. And hopefully with the signing of Marcus Rashford, Barca, my club, we are one step closer to the glory that we've been wanting since 2015. And I know you guys know what that is. So leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.